Hello, I'm so glad to see you all today. So glad to have you all. Yay! Lots and lots of people in the room today, which is fabulous. All the women. Oh yeah, bringing it. I love it. Maybe there will be some men that will join us, which will be lovely too. So glad to have you all here. Some of you know me. I have met quite a few of you before, but some I have not met before. And I'd love to introduce myself really quickly. I'm Terez. I'm an executive coach. I've been working as an executive coach with C-suite leaders for about 8 years. Before that, I was working my way up the corporate ladder, so I had a time in corporate. I've always enjoyed, working in organizations, helping organizations build and grow and scale. And I've always loved leadership. And about 2 years ago, when ChatGPT arrived, I mean, I've always been somebody who's a bit of an early adopter with technology. So I was really interested in using it, and I started to build it into the workflow, into my own personal workflow of executive coaching, and really asking the question of how can I use this to actually increase the speed of results for my clients? And then I started to ask the question of how can I also help my clients to leverage these tools that they might be a bit reticent and resistant, or maybe even resistant to start using, but how can I help them to use this for their personal productivity? Productivity has always been an area of interest for me, helping my clients to be more productive in their day to day, to create more value, to create more impact. That's always been one of the biggest challenges that they come to me with. And I love to help them with it. So if this is something that can help, I'm in it. I'm there for it. So welcome. There are some more people joining, which is fantastic. And before we get started, I want to ask you a question. So I've got some slides here today. This is what we're going to be focusing on is Claude Cowork for professionals. And specifically, I'm going to show you how you can build a chief of staff within Claude. Now, if you aren't using Claude right now, that's not even a problem. You're going to get so much value from this session. It's going to open your mind to what's possible with AI tools. And that's the whole point. You don't have to be using Claude. You may want to decide to use Claude after this, which will be brilliant. And there's loads that I can teach you in this space. But even if you aren't, there are other tools that are quite similar, and these same principles will apply into those tools too. So you can take that forward. And before I get started, I want to hear a little bit about you. So I'm a coach, so of course I'm going to ask questions. I'd love to hear from you. If you can open up your chat, what is your current usage of AI tools? Are you getting started? Which tools do you use? What do you use it for? And also, what do you wish you could do with some of these AI tools? What is it that you think might be possible, but maybe you just don't have the knowledge or the experience or know how to set it up yet? Or what have you seen that you'd love to do? So I'd love to hear from you just in the chat. What do you currently use AI tools for? Which ones do you use? And then also, what do you wish you could do with it? What do you currently do with them? And what do you wish you could do with them? There's a few more people, so brilliant. Ellen, you know very little. Oh, good. So I'm going to blow your mind today. That's so good. Jane, I use Copilot for report writing. Fantastic. Yes, a lot of my clients do have access to Copilot. A lot of organizations, Copilot's like the thing. And I think what I'll teach you here today, some of it will definitely be able to be applicable to Copilot. You might be able to go and find exactly how to set it up for you. And you may even want to subscribe to Claude for your personal usage. You don't have to put any company data into Claude. You can actually just set it up for your personal use. I'll share some personal use cases that I've saved loads of time and loads of frustration just because it's helped me in my personal capacity. All right, Maria, ChatGPT and Claude, workshop ideas, as well as many general chats. Yes, love a general chat. Also, Claude for presentations, brilliant. I'm really keen to learn more about it for executive coaching and in reality have a low level of knowledge. Okay, fabulous. So Maria, you're also in executive coaching. I have another webinar that I did recently, which went specifically into how I use it for my coaching. So I'll send that to you afterwards as well. It will be a great one for you to capture. Zena, daily for the past 18 months to 2 years, mainly ChatGPT. Used very much for asking questions, writing reports, emails, developing training, but keen to learn more how to use the functionality and new to Claude. Everybody's, not everybody, but so many people around the world are, well, at least in my circles, are like Claude this, Claude that, Claude, Claude. And that certainly it might be your reality as well, where people are speaking so highly of Claude, and then you're wondering, why is it so different? What's different about it to some of the others? I will share a bit more about that too. Niraj, so glad that you're here. I use AI quite a bit. Brilliant. Good basic access to Claude. Science recently. Oh, fantastic. That must be incredible. I'm very interested in this AI and the tools that they're creating for the medical space. I think it's brilliant. Brilliant, Niraj. All right, so glad to have you all here. We're going to get started on yeah, we're going to get started. If you have any questions along the way, please pop them in the chat. I've got my chats open. We'll make it seem like a little bit more of a discussion as opposed to a one-sided conversation. You know, I'm a coach, so I don't like to always be the one talking. I love to have a bit of engagement. So please ask questions, and I'll gladly stop and we'll go from there. A lot of us are using all of these tools at the moment, and we have these chats. We're having these great conversations with Claude or ChatGPT or whichever, and very often we might not. It becomes this like beautiful conversation, and then we can't find it. It's down, and you know we remember this conversation that we had with it, and then suddenly we can't actually access it anymore. Which is why one of the reasons why I moved to Claude Cowork was for that very reason. Claude Cowork is this tool that allows you to set up a beautiful working space where it's almost like it connects to your folder structure on your desktop or your OneDrive or wherever it is that you hold your folders. And you're able to then start to do real work, create real outputs so that you can actually take that output and deliver it immediately. You have access to those folders, those outputs, the documents that it creates, and you're able to then hold it, keep it, and save it in a very organized space, and also then be able to use it as you move forward. And it's no longer just a chat, it actually turns into a deliverable document. And that's the whole point. That's what we want to get to. We want to move away from using these tools as just a conversation or a chat, and we want to move more into what's the result that we want? What is the output? What is the deliverable? What is something we can ship and put out there? One of the trends that I'm seeing in the world of entrepreneurship right now is that people are starting to put out more content, more offers, and being able to test those offers, test those creations. Because the more we put out, and if you're in the innovation space, I know some of you are in the innovation space with us today. If you're in the innovation space, we need to be putting out prototypes, getting that feedback, seeing what's working, what's not working. AI tools are really able to help us to do that really quickly. And Claude Cowork, one of the other reasons why I've been very drawn to Claude Cowork is because you can do so much with one single tool. For some time, you know, people have been using ChatGPT for chat and then going to another place to get their images and then to Gamma for presentations and then Claude for the copywriting and then this place for that. And you have all of these 500 million tools. It's really bad for productivity because you know you've then got to try and find where you've put everything within all of these tools. So I've been quite drawn to using Claude Cowork only and trying to figure out how can I get everything that I need with one single tool. And it's brilliant because there are some tips and tricks on how to leverage it for images and banners and those kinds of things. But even everything that you'll see now, this presentation that I'm showing you now was also created just with Claude Cowork. I'm also not a coder, so I'm not somebody who knows, I'm not a graphic designer, I'm not somebody who knows all of these things, but I've been able to do it with an imagination and a conversation. Actually, that sounds really good. An imagination and a conversation. That should be something. Actually, somebody write that down. This also shows you that AI is only as good as the human behind it, right? So if you prompt it, if you give it your imagination, your ideas, your suggestions, you're going to get something brilliant out. And the difference isn't, okay, well, in this slide saying the difference isn't the prompt for sure, it's also the setup. It is the context layer. It is how you create the foundation of the tool that you want so that whenever you converse with it, whenever you speak to it, it is going to give you a more unique output. So the setup of your tool, whichever one it is that you're using, is one of the most important parts. What we wanted to then be able to do, and the reason why I say the setup is the most important part, is because what you want to be able to get to is I'm just going to just mute here. What we want to be able to get to is a chief of staff. We want to get to a tool that knows everything about us and also is able to learn everything about us so that when we're having a conversation with it, we don't have to repeat things over and over again and say, you know, that thing that we're working on, this project, and the stakeholders, you know, the ELT, they're quite finicky. This one needs more data, and that one likes to have the story. You don't want to have to tell it that every single time. What we want to be able to do is set up our tool, our LLM of choice, if we're using it for our personal productivity, with as much context as we have as possible so that we don't have to say that every single time. It can actually connect to that context and give you relevant answers based off of that context. And what we wanted to be able to do is to also learn over time. So the more you converse with it, the more decisions you make, the more changes and updates. We actually want it to learn and create memory about that over time. So that eventually you can have a one-liner conversation and it knows more about you and it gives you very accurate answers. And that's precisely what's happened with me. I now have very terse conversations with my Claude, and it suddenly gives me like really very on point directives and results just because I've been able to set it up quite extensively with the context. So we want to make sure that it's got everything about us, our brand, our voice, our role, what we're measured on, our objectives, our stakeholders, the people that we work with, the people that are important to us. We want to give it all of that context. So this is how we build that chief of staff. We create this context layer. We tell it everything about us. We give it as much information as possible. Let me have a look here. There's a question. Can you pull in what you have already done in ChatGPT to build that knowledge quickly? Absolutely, you can. You can take all of this context and you can ask Claude to create your context files with it. We've created, I'm gonna share it with you in a minute, but we've created a plugin that helps you to set up this context layer, and you can give it any information and it will create all of these context documents for you automatically. And it's not ready yet, but we're building the ChatGPT version of this too. So it's going to be ready in the next couple of weeks. But yes, the context layer is the most important part. Then we want to make sure that we're also working in projects. We want to keep and the reason why we want to work in a project, I always recommend to my clients to make sure that you have a business project, one single project for your organization, for your work, for your business. And everything you ask it is contained in that folder and that project. And the reason for that is that it's going to start to build memory over time. It's going to start to collect everything that's happening there. I know a lot of people have now been creating projects for different parts of their business. My recommendation is instead to create a folder structure within one project. And I'll show you what a folder structure in one project looks like in a second. Let me answer some questions. Helen, I've heard that Claude can interview you to set the context. Absolutely. Yes, it can interview you to set the context. Our plugin does that for you as well. But you can, I mean, you don't have to use our plugin. I'm going to tell you about our plugin, how you can get our plugin. It's also for free. You can use it. You can play around with it. But you also don't have to use it. You can create your own context. Everything that I'm sharing with you here, you can go and do. And that's why this is a very valuable webinar. Whenever I do webinars, I want to make sure I give amazing value, so I know you'll come back. Ralph, interesting that we are so wary of sharing data on Facebook or LinkedIn, but we're quite happy to tell Anthropic way more about us and our organizations. Yes, for sure. there is a conversation that we could have about safety, and there are certain safety protocols that you can take. We have to make sure that whatever it is that we're feeding into Anthropic or ChatGPT or any of these places, that we're happy with them to have it. The question that we need to have is, do we trust? Do we trust these organizations to hold our data safe? We have the same question to ask of Microsoft. So many organizations around the world are using Microsoft, spending loads of money with them. We're also happy for them to hold our data. What's the difference between a Microsoft versus an Anthropic? It is really just a trust factor and also the credibility of how long they've been around and those kinds of things. You've got to do your homework to make sure that you're happy with what you're going to give it. Great. So context is the first layer. Then we want to set our projects, set up a project so that we're creating memory within that project. Then we want to start using skills. Skills are superpowers. If you don't know skills yet, if you haven't, who has or hasn't learned skills? Maybe just give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down, or give me a thumbs up in the reaction. No, you haven't heard of skills. We've got a couple of thumbs ups. Okay. No, some thumbs downs. Okay, perfect. Wonderful. So if you haven't heard of a skill is basically a master prompt. It is a huge description of exactly what you want the AI to do for you. So an example of a skill would be, well, I'll show you what it looks like in a moment. Actually, let me show you now because, why not? So this is my test account, Claude. And you can go into Claude to access skills either by going to customize in this section here, and if you click on it, it'll take you straight away to skills, or you can go into your settings just there and it'll take you into skills. When you click on skills, I've got a few skills already here. And some of these are already created. If you click on a skill, now the sound human skill is one that I've created. You'll also get access to the skill if you want it. I'll give you the link later on and you can go and download it. So a sound human skill is basically a set of instructions that you give you when you're having a conversation with Claude or wherever. It basically says, turn this text or turn whatever it is that you're working into, make it sound more human based off of these rules. So this sound human skill has actually got 12 tells, 12 rules, 12 of the major things that are coming up in AI sounding speech or text or content right now. These are the 12 tells. So instead of you having to say, tell it this every single time, all you need to do is use this skill and it will automatically take your text, your content that you've created, and it will remove all of these tells and it will rework that copy for you. And it's really so simple to use a skill. All you would do is in the conversation, you would type / and you would type sound human. You would then enter, you would paste in your copy over here, copywriting, and then you would press go and it would automatically make that text, that copy, sound human. It would remove all those tells. So basically what a skill is it's a process, a step-by-step process or framework or set of rules that allows you to reuse it over and over again without you having to give it all of that information over and over again. It's different to context. Context is about you and your role, but the skill would be used for things like copywriting frameworks. Like I've got a pitch. Let's just see if it's in here. There's an exec slide deck copywriter that we've created, which has, let's just see if I can go in here and I can show you settings, skills. So basically when to use the skill, if you want to create copywriting for a slide deck, and essentially it's got frameworks. So there's frameworks that will then be used. So it's going to ask you, it's going to say, what is this pitch deck for? What is this slide deck for? And you will say, well, it's either for a pitch, and if it's a pitch, then it will go through, it will create the slides based on this framework. Or is it a consulting pitch deck? Then it will create the slides based on this framework. Or is it a consumer or external pitch? It will create slides based on that framework. So if you have frameworks, processes, standard operating procedures, you create a skill for it and you don't have to keep doing it over and over again. So I think I've made a rule now for myself. Anytime I find myself doing something again for a second time, I'm just going to go and create a skill for it, which is why I have a lot of skills in my personal account. So skills are amazing. Definitely go and find out more about skills. There are three ways that you can get skills. The first way is to find them online, get them from people who've created them before. In our AI membership and in our AI challenge, and even in our free space, free membership community, which you will be invited to after this, we have got a number of skills that you can already use and get going with. The second way to have skills is to build them. So tell exactly what it is that you want it to create a skill for. And the third way, this is the way that I love the most, is once you've created something that you love the output of, you love what it's done for you, what it's created, ask your AI to turn this into a skill. I'm not sure if Copilot can do this just yet. I think they've got something called agents, and I think it's quite tricky to set those up a little bit, but I'm not sure if you can just say to them, turn this into an agent. It may or may not do that, and it may still be coming. But principally, we've got to think, this is what's possible. So let me go and figure out how I can make this happen within the tools that I have. All right, skills, that's that one. Automation is the next piece. Next, we want to be able to take those skills, those projects, that context, the things that we've created, and we want to start actually automating them. Do we need them every single Monday based off of some data that we give it access to? Do we want it to, give us an update on our week ahead, or do a rundown with us at the end of the week? Do we want to start automating some of the things that we know that we're going to do weekly or monthly? Board packs. Does it need to access your Excel spreadsheet and then be able to run the board pack skill to build your board pack for you automatically so that you wake up on a Friday and you're able to submit it same day, and then instead of having to work 2 weeks on a board pack. Those are the things that we can start to think about. And then the next piece is dashboards. How can we start to visualize? Humans aren't really good at storing information. We're really good at processing information. And when we're good at processing information, what that means is actually we need to have access to a more visual aspects to our data, to what's happening for us. So now, anytime that I have a problem, I just think, can I create a dashboard for it? Can I visualize this some way? Can I turn this into a document that visualizes this problem so that it's easy for me to understand and to work with? And I've built dashboards for so many things. I'll give you an example of what I mean by a dashboard. So I have here a summer holiday dashboard. My son is on holiday for many, many weeks in the summer. Whew, it's just too much. And, to keep him entertained and fed and activities and still be able to do work and have two businesses, because that's how things are right now. I mean, I don't know why I thought about launching another business in the summer holidays. How could one think of those things? He's got camps, all this stuff. What am I going to do with him? So I created a dashboard. And now, my husband and I has access to this dashboard. We know what he's doing. We've planned a few things out. We haven't planned everything, but it's really just a visual way to see who's looking after him on which days, when has he got a play date? And yes, we could use a calendar. It's not as visual as this dashboard. And also it starts to see, oh, okay, actually there's a little bit of inequality here. There's only 14 days with Paul and 16 with me. Let's go and sort some things out. One of the other dashboards that I created with or helped to create for my client is she wanted to do the channel swim, but there was so many moving parts, work and looking after the dog and walking the dog and sleep and all of those things and kids. So we created, based off of a conversation that we had together, I said to her, can I use this information and build a dashboard and a training plan for you? And we built her training plan. It had all of the things that she needed to do every day. She could edit it as well, so it didn't have to be standard. She could edit all of these pieces when she wanted to sleep. And it showed her data, visual data of how much time she'd be swimming every single week, which obviously changed. There was, different hours of swimming that she needed for each week. And now she's on track to be swimming the channel towards the end of this this month, which I am so proud of for her. So dashboards, I mean, I could talk for hours on that. All right, so we created an AI amplified plugin, which will help your Claude set up your context so that you can have that foundation piece ready to rumble as quickly as possible. Because I think that setting up Claude shouldn't be hard. It should actually be easy. So many people have come to me and said, I've watched all the YouTube videos and I'm trying to figure out how this thing works and what I need to do to set it up. Like it just seems so tricky. And everybody tells me I need to have context documents and where do I put the context documents? And I need to have project instructions and where do I put the project in, like, where do I put the instructions, global instructions or project instructions? All of that is so tricky to understand and nobody's really telling us exactly how. So I like to make things easy. Should I press this easy button? I mean, should we make things easy? Anybody? Yes? So give me a thumbs up if you want who likes the easy way out? I love the easy way out. Let's go. For sure. We made the easy. Yay, all the easies. Okay, so good. Yay. We we pressed the easy button. Again, that was with Claude. Claude did that. That's not me. I mean, it was my brain that came up with the idea, but it could do that now. This is why I'm so passionate about it, is because I think humans have got so much imagination and so much within them, like thoughts and ideas that is sitting there, and we haven't been able to express them because there's been no way for us to showcase what's in our minds, like showcase what could be possible. And now I think these tools are a really powerful way for us to showcase that. So we've built this AI amplified plugin and you absolutely get access to it. So if you are able to, where is it now? Let me go here. Not that one. You will be able to go to our, at the end of this, I'm going to send this link around in the chat, but you'll be able to go to our website and download this free plugin. You get the free plugin in the training. All you'll need to do is sign up to join our community. And in our community, you'll get access to this amplified core plugin. You'll get the training on it. You'll get a step-by-step on it, exactly what it is that you need to do to set it up. And you'll be able to build your context from there. So, but I'll show you what it actually is, because that might be helpful. So the plugin it's almost like it's like a collection of skills that we've created. So this is the plugin. It's the AI Amplified Program Core. It's got 11 skills already built in. So you don't have to set any of this up. And all of these skills are basically, when you upload the plugin, it's going to give you access to these skills. And then what you're going to do is you're going to open up a new project. You're going to call it your company name. Is probably the best one to have. You're going to allocate it to a folder on wherever it is that you want your folder structure to be. This is my test version here. And we're going to, so wherever you want your folders to be for Claude Cowork, you're going to give it access in your actual desktop or your OneDrive or wherever it is, Google Drive. And you're going to open up that folder. You're going to allow it to make changes in that folder. And you're going to give it a name, which would be your company. Hold on, let me just make sure that this is in the right place. Let's see. There. Okay, yes, we're going to create a new folder called Your Company. I can't do two things at once. Oh, it's already got a Your Company. So we're gonna make it a new Your Company so I can show you properly. Your Company 2. Obviously, I've been doing this too many times. Where's it gone now? There we go. So now it's created this folder. We're going to open it up. And you're also going to give it access. When you get the plugin when you download the plugin from us, you're going to get this AI Amplified AI Amplified Program Core plugin. You're going to get the plugin, which you'll upload. Obviously, the instructions will tell you exactly how to do it. And then you're going to give it a Claude MD file and a README file. Claude MD file is for Claude. The README file is for you. This is the part that people don't tell you. So yes, you want to have your context, but you also need to tell Claude that this context is important. This is the context. This is where it needs to find that context. If you add all of your documents inside of a folder, it's only going to look at the first few bits of it. It's not going to look at all of it because it's incredibly inefficient and it will use up so much of your usage. So this Claude MD file is probably one of the most important parts of this plugin because it says exactly this is where you go to find that context, and also this is where you go to update that context over time. So then you're going to create your project, and then you can see it's already got those documents in there. And then you're just going to say, run my AI amplified program. And really what that's going to do, the easy button, it's just going to start you through a process. You're just going to have a conversation with it, listen to what it's got to say, and you're going to give it all of your context documents that you already have. You can get that from ChatGPT or your business. Give it as much information as you want, and it will write your context documents for you. This is the end results. This is the after. I'm just going to open up a project here that we already have created as a demo. Let's see, demo over here. Cowork, this Northbridge company. So we've created this Northbridge company already, and it's already got all of its context documents sorted out. So what it will do is it's actually going to create this folder structure for you. The plugin will create this folder structure for you, and it will organize everything into this folder structure for you. So there's an archive for archives, briefings for briefings, command center, I'll speak to you about context. It will interview you. It will gather all of that information based on the questions it asks, and then it will create these context documents for you. You don't have to do a thing. And some of them are MD files, which are called markdown files, and markdown files are really just an efficient way for Claude to access that information. What it's also going to be able to do is if you are able to give it your brand, your brand styles, your fonts, your colors, anything that you are able to give it, snapshots even, your website link, anything that already has your brand, even templates that you've been using already, it will actually create a brand style guide for you, which is something that I used to pay for to access, right? To get. It's a very expensive piece to go through, especially if you're an entrepreneur. Now, I'm not saying you mustn't use a graphic designer. Please definitely use a graphic designer when you can. But as a small business owner, when things are tight and you can't pay for all of these things, this is incredibly helpful. But if you've already used a graphic designer and you've already got your brand and you've already got all of this actually just shows you what your brand can look like. And also, if you want to change something, you just ask it and you say, actually, I don't like that anymore. I don't like that part of my brand anymore. Let's change it. Let's tweak it. I don't like that color anymore. Let's make it a little bit darker, lighter, whatever the case is. I don't like the way that you're displaying the text. Let's make it slightly different. But when it's got this, everything that you then create, every output is going to then be in your brand. You don't have to faff around with moving things on a PowerPoint presentation anymore. You don't have to, adjust a PDF. You don't have to do any of that. And an example that I can give you with that is we've created let's go here, a board pack as an example. So I created a demo company with this business context for this company that just created all of this information about this company, this person, their voice, their brand. So it's got everything that we need to know about this person and this business. And I asked it, I said, create the board pack based off of some fictitious numbers, but make it look realistic. So how would you create it? So if you were to access or give it your Excel spreadsheets, your actual information, your actual details, and any information that you need every single month, it's going to be able to build you a document like this, which is absolutely incredible, beautifully presented, and much better than it would take us hours, or we'd pay someone lots of money to be able to create this, and already in your brand. So we don't need to mess around anymore. Yes, if you're working with several brands, how does this work then? That's a brilliant question. What I would then recommend, especially if it just depends on the context of how you work with several brands, you might create a folder structure for within your project. So let's just say you're here already. You might add a folder in here called for clients, and then each one would have a brand and then would have their brand context. Or it just depends on the level of work that you're doing for them. You might then want to create a separate project for them. If you want to have absolutely new context that doesn't infiltrate your context, you would have a separate brand. Because I've got two businesses right now. I've got my exec coaching business and I've got Tuitive. I have two separate projects, two separate brands, two separate contexts. Some of it's borrowed from each, and you can copy and paste, and it's easy to copy and paste into these channels. All right, let's see, where are we at? Let's go back here. So we press the easy button. That is the plugin. You get access to that core plugin for free. One of the questions I think Rolf was asking is about, yes, the safety and the data that we have access to. That is absolutely something that we need to consider. One of the things that I would always recommend, this is a team account. So I have a team account. When you are on a team or an enterprise account, I think with any of the ChatGPT or Claude, you do already get a data processing agreement with them. So they are really making sure that they're looking after your data. Also, they don't train AI models based on any of your data as a default. You can obviously turn it on if you want to. I don't think you should, but they just don't do that. If you're on a pro account, you definitely do want to go in and hold on, where are we here? Not there. Let's go back here. You want to make sure that you've gone into the settings and then into privacy and, oh, where's it opening? There it is. And you want to make sure that these two things are turned off. It doesn't give me that option in my Claude account because, like I said, it's a team account, but you go into privacy and you turn off location metadata so it doesn't know where you are. And then also to help improve our AI models, turn that off. There's obviously more. You need to go through the right protocols to make sure that you've done the right things for your business and for your data. But the other very small tip is some of these chats have got a thumbs up and a thumbs down if you like or don't like the output. If you press a thumbs up or a thumbs down, it is going to send that conversation to Claude, and they will have access to that data for a period of time. So I would recommend just don't use that. Rather go back and improve your prompt or converse with Claude to make it better in some way. Those are the two biggest bits of advice that I would recommend. All right, let's have a look. What is possible with just Cowork? I'm going to show you a few more use cases now as well. I showed you a board pack. We can also look at a consultant grade report. So one of the things that I created really quite early on is I asked it to go and I was trying to figure out, like, how do I showcase this with a brand that I don't know and I don't have any information about? Like, what can I create with something that is real and true, but I don't have any actual information about them? So I built the strategy reports for Monzo, which is a UK brand. They're a banking company. Now, their brand, it didn't come out too perfectly, but also just considering I don't have any of their brand guidelines or brand documents, it was really just based off of screenshots, etc. But it built this. I said, let's create a consultant grade report. I used a skill. We've built a skill called it might not be on here. Consultant. Oh, no. The consultant spreadsheet, what is it called? The consulting, not spreadsheet, the consultant reports. Consultant reports comes in our AI Pro plugin. So I built it with that, and it's a skill, and it works through how to take information and sort it and to put it into a beautiful format and view. But also I said to it, go and scrape the internet for Monzo's current company's house financials and go and look at what its competitors are doing in this space and answer this question is what should Monzo do when it comes to AI in the next 12 months based off of what what its competitors are doing, but also based off of in the news, what have they been told to have as part of their strategy? So it went and built this consultant grade report, which would take it would cost a load of money to build something like this. It built it into an incredible format, looking at executive summaries, recommendations, where Monzo is, looking at actual financial data, the three forces, the forces that have shifted for Monzo in the past few months, obviously the consultant question, what the governing solution would be, but it built all of this, 27 pages, right? So I'm going to just scan through them in a matter of minutes. Okay, maybe not minutes. It was like 15 minutes. It took a lot of time to go and scrape the internet, but to put all of this together was just incredible. And if you have the data, if you have the information, if you've got something, you can present it and make it look incredible really, really quickly. Obviously with appendices, etc. So Cowork can do that. Let's see, what else have we got here? Proposals. So one of the things that I've shifted to is let me just redo this. I now do my proposals. I used to send proposals to my clients in email. I now create them as an HTML document. There's a trend that is shifting towards people using HTML documents instead of PDFs or PowerPoints because it can hold a lot more information, and also it can be very interactive, it can be beautifully presented, and also just stand out from the crowd. So I now send this, and all they need to do is open it up in their browser, and they're able to access that information just as normal. It's still contained in their own environment, their laptop. It's not actually live on a website at all. So this is essentially an HTML document. Also, these links work. It's got reschedule links. It shows a little bit about me. It's interactive, so it actually is personalized to the person and also what we would focus on. It's already built in how I work, my 4 pillars of future-ready executive leadership, and it basically explains how we will get there together, what we will work on together. Also, we're able to, like I said, remember I said earlier on, what's really helpful for us is to visually see things. How do we visually showcase the ROI, especially for things that are intangible? And I'm now able to then show them, like, what does this mean to you? When you have clarity or when you delegate, what does it actually mean for your leadership over time? It really creates a massive gap if, obviously it's illustrative, but it's just showing, it's giving something a bit more of a visual understanding. It goes through my program, everything, pricing, who I've worked with, testimonials, all of that, all in one place. And also, FAQs, all in one place. And then they can email me, reschedule our follow-up call, or download the PDF. Really, really beautiful. One of the people that came to a webinar a couple of weeks ago, she told me she shifted to an HTML format proposal. She went and pitched to a massive client, and it's likely that she's going to get that work. Maybe it's not because of the proposal, but I think when she went in, she felt proud of what she was presenting. And that makes all the difference. All right, let's see. What else do I have to show you? Meeting briefs. I think a lot of what can also start to happen is we can start to schedule tasks. We can create a weekday morning brief. One of the things that Claude Cowork can do is it also gives you access to connectors. So if you're obviously make sure that you're able to do this at work, or if you are comfortable with doing it, you can connect it to things like your Google Calendar or your Gmail. Just remember that whenever you connect it to something, that data is then able to be passed over to the other software. So you need to be very trusting of that other software. Now, Gmail holds a lot of my information already. So those are actually the only things that I use Gmail, Google Calendar, and actually Notion, because I use Notion as a database. It holds a lot of my content and ideas. Those are the only connectors that I've actually connected to my Claude right now. But you've got to feel safe in order to do that. So that's something that we've got to feel our way through, and also make sure that we trust the provider. But then when you have those connectors, it can actually start to create a morning brief. It can check in with your calendar, see what's happening for you. It can tell you what you need to prepare for. It can even start to run skills on top of that to say, okay, you've had a conversation with this person based on our previous chats, or this is the stakeholder that needs a lot of hand-holding based on the context that you've set up, and you're having a conversation with them today. This is what I would recommend how you prepare for that. So it can start to get really, really intelligent and start to get incredibly helpful. All right, any questions so far? I want to make sure that I get through absolutely everything. Let's see. There's some personal use cases. Obviously, you can create a household center. There's so much. There really is so much. Let me just see if there's anything here. One of the things that I created in Claude, I'm not going to go through it, but I've spoken to my clients and I've said, in order for me to help you get results even faster, one of the things that I'd like to be able to do is to be able to use our transcripts to offer you some session notes afterwards, but also maybe there are insights and things that I haven't picked up as a coach that AI can pick up for you, some trends based on the history of our conversations. But I didn't ever want to put their identifying data into Claude. So I created a transcript scrubber, which basically removes all of their identifying data. And then I'm able to put in a very cleaned out transcript afterwards. So like it says, hi, client two instead of their name. It removes any of that identifying data. I was able to build this with Claude, which means now all I need to do is have this transcript scrubber. That's the only place that has client data. House it in a folder that's password protected. And then the only other place that has that information is Fathom, where I record. I also now you can create vision boards for clients like these. We've spoken about those. Let's have a look. What else have we got here? One of the other brilliant use cases is learning and development. So if you have frameworks or you want to help someone understand something or remember something, one of the things that I've done for my client, I'm just going to clear that out so you can see what's going on. One of the things that my client wanted to learn was to have more coaching questions for his Zoom conversations. He wanted to coach more as opposed to tell more. And he couldn't think of questions instead of like, how are things going? Which is, it's nice, but it's not the best kind of question to ask every single time. So I created this bank of questions for them. And then what they were able to do is before they go into a conversation, they can decide what kind of conversation they're having. Is it a review or feedback? It will sort the questions based on that. He can then add all of the questions that he would like, and then it's added to his session, and he's got the questions ready to go for his Zoom conversation. Now, that came from my mind. I thought of it, it was an imagined thing, but I was able to deliver it. Imagine what your mind can come up with. Let's see. Um, I mean, it can also create beautiful slides. I think we've seen some of these already. Is there anything that you think you're asking, like you're thinking, can it create this? Ask me in the chat. Is there anything that you are wondering about now? Like, what are the possibilities that this opens up for you? Put them in the chat if you have anything. I'm going to continue on though. So, all right. Where's my original piece? I can get quite carried away and just keep talking forever, but we don't want to have that happen. We're almost at time. Okay, so for the plugin, at the moment, you would need a paid Claude plan and you would need Claude Cowork downloaded onto your desktop. That is the prerequisite in order to use the plugin. However, the principles still stand. Context is very important. And then you want to set up your projects. Then you want to start thinking about skills. How can I never do the same thing twice? And then automation, and then start building out some dashboards. But for the plugin that I've shared in the link, you will need a Claude Pro account and you will need it to be on your dashboard. But if you think about the time saving, completely worth it. And then in order to continue working with me, because why not? I'm nice and I'm very passionate in this space, but there are many ways that we can for sure work together. So you can get the free plugin that you've got the link already. And I'm also doing a 30-day challenge from next week. We're going to go all in on Claude. There's 4 weeks, so we're going to do the foundation. We're going to really make sure that you've well set up, that Claude is beautiful, set up, perfect. It's got the right base in order for you to grow your business or wherever it is that you're working from. Then in the week 2, we're going to start looking at multipliers. How do we use skills and how do we actually start to build on, like use multi-step skills to create mini agents to be able to build out the things that you never want to do ever again. I specifically also focused on the things that I hated doing. I don't like admin. I don't like formatting slides. I don't like redoing stuff over and over again. We start there and we get all of that out the way. So that's week 2. Then we're going to go to automations. So how do we set up some automations that work for you, personalized to you? I also think Claude and these tools are one of the most personalized productivity tools ever that we've ever seen. Nothing has ever come close to how personalized you can make it. I've built myself a weekly dashboard, but it's how I work. It's built to, I'm not going to share it with anybody because it's built to my process, how I like to work, what I want to do every single day, how I capture my tasks, and how I want to gamify myself to actually do them. But we're going to create that for you too, your personalized version. And that's going to be also part of the program is doing those dashboards, making sure that you've got that visual information to keep you on track, to really allow you to see the things that are important in your business, but also in your life. And that is here. I'm going to share this link in the comments as well. Come and join us in the challenge. It says get 500 hours back. I mean, if you, this is it. This is crazy, right? So if you saved 11 hours a week with the admin that you don't want, that's 500 hours a year. That's huge. Like it's massive. Imagine what you could do. Imagine the impact that you would have. You might want to start a second business like I have, crazy. But also it might start to open up other things for you, other opportunities, things that you want to focus on. Let's see, what else? Oh, this is also what you get. It's 197 pounds. It's an absolute steal. I mean, to be fair, somebody came onto onto a webinar the other day. She came onto the Claude for Coaches one. She'd come to Claude for Professionals. She wanted to check the Claude for Coaches one. And at the end of it, she was saying, maybe it wasn't, I can't, I've done so many webinars right now. I'm a little bit cross-eyed. But she said at the end of it, she said just the webinar alone was worth 197 pounds. So it made so much sense for her to join the challenge. And that's what she said, not me. And I'll give you proof if you need it. But you're going to get all of these things. I mean, there's going to be so much. You'll definitely get way more than that value. We'd love to have you there. If you have any questions, ask me. You can unmute yourself, ask me any questions. This is the end of our show. It was so lovely to have you all. Any thoughts? How does it feel? Like, I mean, what are you feeling right now? I know that I say a lot and what's the word? I've covered a lot. There's lots, but my hope is that this opens up opportunity for you, that you start to see, hang on, maybe some of these things could be possible for me too. Some of these things could be something I could do, or it might open something up for you. But I'd love to hear. Niraj, I'm so glad that you are here. Thank you. If you need to run, please do. But if you would like to ask any questions, I can stay on for a few more minutes. You're welcome to it. Or if you want to tell me more about you and your business and what your aims are, Alan, your mind's blown away. I'm so glad. But I mean, I really honestly think this could be the opportunity for more creativity. So many people are saying, it's going to remove our creativity and it's going to remove our connection. And I actually think, what if it's not? What if it's the opposite? What if this could be the tool that actually improves our creativity? I've definitely noticed it from me. Building a transcript scrubber, I would never have done that normally, or even thought to have done that unless I had this challenge of what I needed to be able to work with. And then I created it and it blew my mind away. Blown away, also quite excited. Maria, I'm so glad. Helen, pleasure, so glad to have you all. Yes, Jane, please ask your question. You're welcome.
Yeah, thank you very much. I was really interested in that. I've got a colleague who's working on Zena knows this on lots of different AI agents that she's creating for me to make my work easier. I was hoping she'd be able to join this today, so I'm going to share this with her.
Yeah, sure.
And hopefully she'll be able to get onto another webinar because I think it's really good. And thank you very much. I thoroughly enjoyed it.
No problem. I'm so glad. Thank you. I appreciate that feedback. Really appreciate it. So good. So good to have you all. I mean, everybody's still hanging around. If you have any more questions, please do. I will reach out as well. We're going to start a newsletter, a free newsletter, which will be like tips, but specific ones, not ones that are like what's happening in the world of OpenAI and you have have no relevance to us, but actual tips and prompts that you can use. We're going to start that as well. So regardless of whether you join us for free or in the paid challenge, I'd love to keep you in our space. And I hope if there's any more questions, no more questions, I'm going to say goodbye and hope you have an amazing rest of your week, everyone, and speak soon. Bye, everyone. Have a great time. Speak soon. Bye.